Have you ever wondered why some people reach 100 years old with a smile on their face, while others barely make it to 60, complaining about everything? The answer lies in their daily habits. Today, I'm going to reveal 13 habits that could add decades to your life. Did you know that in Okinawa, Japan, there are more centenarians per 100,000 inhabitants than anywhere else in the world? It's not a coincidence. Their secrets lie in these 13 habits. And don't worry, you don't have to move to a Japanese island to benefit from these secrets. We're not talking about eating broccoli 3 times a day or exercising until you pass out. These are simple habits that anyone can incorporate, inspired by the blue zones of the world, those places where people live longer and better. The last habit will surprise you so much that you'll want to start practicing it immediately. So, are you ready to discover how to live a long and happy life? Before we start, if you find value in these episodes, please subscribe and click the bell to stay updated. Let's begin. Habit 1. Natural movement. Have you ever thought that to stay fit, you need hours at the gym or to run marathons? Prepare for a surprise that will change your mind. Let's talk about natural movement. Yes, it's that simple. Centenarians in Okinawa don't have gym memberships, but they are in better shape than many city-dwelling youths. Their secret is to move constantly throughout the day. Imagine your body is like a car. If you leave it parked too long, it rusts, but if you use it regularly, even for short trips, it stays in good condition. That's how our body works. Okinawans incorporate movement into their daily lives in incredibly simple ways. They cultivate their own gardens, walk to run errands, and some even practice Tai Chi in parks. You don't need to do anything extravagant. Just stay active. Did you know that simply getting up from your chair every hour can increase your lifespan? A study from the University of California found that people who move frequently throughout the day have a lower risk of premature death. Who would have thought that something so simple could have such an impact? But don't worry, we're not saying you need to turn your office into a gym. Small changes can make a big difference. Try these ideas. 1. Park your car a little farther from your destination and walk the rest. 2. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. 3. Dance while doing household chores. 4. Take phone calls standing up or walking. 5. Play with your kids or pets in the park. The trick is to make movement a natural part of your day, not another task on your to-do list. It's like adding spices to your food. A little here and there enhances the overall flavor of your life. And here's the best part. Natural movement benefits not only your body, but also your mind. Studies have shown that regular exercise can improve your mood, reduce stress, and even boost your creativity. Who doesn't want to be happier and more creative? So, next time you feel guilty for not going to the gym, remember that every step counts, every stretch, every spontaneous dance in your kitchen, every play session with your dog in the park. It all adds up to a longer and happier life. Natural movement is like a long-term investment. Small daily deposits accumulate over time to give you great benefits. And the best part is, you don't need special equipment or extraordinary skills, just your body and the will to stay active. Let's move on to the second habit, finding your ikigai. Habit 2, finding your ikigai. Have you ever wondered what your reason for being is? That question, which might seem overwhelming, is actually the key to this second habit. Ikigai isn't the name of a new sushi dish, though it does come from Japan. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that roughly translates to the reason for being, or the reason you get up every morning. It's that sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for intersect. But why is it so important? Well, it turns out that having a purpose not only makes you happier, but can also add years to your life. A study from Rush University in Chicago found that people with a strong sense of purpose were 15% less likely to die prematurely. Now, before you panic thinking you need to discover the meaning of life before dinner, breathe. Finding your ikigai doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it's probably already there, waiting to be discovered. I propose a quick exercise. Take a piece of paper and draw 4 overlapping circles like the Olympic rings, but with one less. In each circle, write 1. What you love to do. 2. What you're good at. 3. What the world needs. 4. What you can be paid for. Now pause the episode and come back when you're done. I'll wait here. Ready? Great. Now look at where these circles intersect. That intersection could be your ikigai. Maybe you'll discover that you love cooking, you're good at it, the world needs healthy food, and you can get paid for it. Boom, you've found a clue to your ikigai. But don't worry if you don't find it immediately. Ikigai isn't something you discover overnight. It's more like a plant you cultivate over time. Sometimes you just need to start doing things you enjoy and see where they lead you. The residents of Okinawa, those masters of longevity, have an ikigai that goes beyond work. For some, it might be caring for their grandchildren, for others, practicing a traditional art. The important thing is that it gives them a reason to get up each morning with enthusiasm. And here's the best part. Your ikigai can change over time. You're not tied to one thing forever. As you grow and change, your purpose can evolve with you. It's like having multiple seasons in the series of your life, each with its own exciting theme. So, next time you find yourself stuck in a rut, ask yourself, what excites me? What makes me lose track of time? These questions could be the first step towards your ikigai. Remember, it's not about finding the grandest or most impressive purpose. It's about finding something that makes you feel alive and useful. It can be as simple as making someone smile every day, or as complex as solving climate change. The important thing is that it motivates you. Now let's address the third habit, reducing stress. Habit 3, reducing stress. Have you ever felt like your head is about to explode from stress? Don't worry, you're not alone. Stress is like that unwanted guest who shows up uninvited and stays longer than they should. But what if I told you there's a way to show them the door? Yes, I know what you're thinking, easier said than done. But don't worry. We're not going to suggest you move to a cave in the Himalayas, though. Admittedly, it sometimes sounds tempting. Chronic stress is like a silent thief that steals years from our lives. Studies have shown that prolonged stress can shorten telomeres, those little caps at the ends of our chromosomes that protect our DNA. When telomeres shorten, our cells age faster. It's as if stress speeds up our biological clock. But all is not lost. Blue zones, those places in the world where people live longer and healthier lives, have some tricks up their sleeves to keep stress at bay. And no, it doesn't involve taking permanent vacations on a tropical beach, though that's not a bad idea either. In Okinawa, for example, they practice something called Tai Chi, or Qigong. Imagine slow, flowing movements that look like a dance in slow motion. It might seem funny at first, but it's incredibly effective for calming the mind and relaxing the body. On the island of Ikaria in Greece, they have an even more surprising technique, the nap. Yes, you read that right. Taking a small nap after lunch is not only acceptable, it's almost mandatory. It's like they have a built-in reset button in their day. Now, before you start planning to move to Greece, which isn't a bad idea, let me share some techniques you can apply without packing your bags. 1. Conscious breathing. Take a few minutes each day to focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the air for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 8. It's like giving your nervous system a massage. 2. Connect with nature. Spend time outdoors. Walk barefoot on the grass. Hug a tree if you dare. Yes, it sounds like a hippie cliche, but it works. Nature has an amazing calming effect on our brains. 3. Practice gratitude. Before going to sleep, think of 3 things you're grateful for that day. It can be something as simple as the coffee was delicious this morning. It's like putting rose-colored glasses on your mind. 4. Disconnect. Turn off your electronic devices at least an hour before bed. Social media will be there tomorrow, I promise. Remember, reducing stress isn't about eliminating all the problems in your life, if only it were that easy. It's about changing your relationship with them. It's like learning to surf instead of fighting the waves. And who knows, maybe over time, You'll become an expert at riding the waves of stress. Habit 4. The 80% rule. This concept, known in Okinawa as hara hachi bu, is so simple that you could start practicing it at your next meal. But what exactly does it mean? Imagine your stomach is like a gas tank. The Okinawans, those masters of longevity, have the habit of filling their tank only up to 80%. That is, they stop eating when they feel satisfied, but not completely full. Now, before you start calculating percentages on your plate, let me explain why this is so important. It turns out that our body takes about 20 minutes to send the signal of satiety to the brain. When we eat until we feel full, we are actually exceeding our needs. But what are the benefits of this? Well, eating less not only helps maintain a healthy weight, but also reduces stress on our digestive system. It's like giving your body a break so it can focus on other important tasks like repairing cells and fighting aging. Studies have shown that moderate calorie restriction can increase longevity and reduce the risk of diseases. It's as if by eating less, we give our body the opportunity to function more efficiently. Now, implementing this rule doesn't have to be complicated. Here are some practical tips. 1. Use smaller plates. It's a visual trick, but it works. A small plate full will give you the sensation of eating more. 2. Eat slower. Enjoy each bite, chew well, and take breaks between bites. This will give you time to recognize when you are satisfied. 3. Drink water before meals. A glass of water about 30 minutes before eating can help you feel fuller with less food. 4. Listen to your body. Learn to recognize the difference between being satisfied and being full. Satisfaction is that point where you're no longer hungry but could eat more if you wanted. 5. Eat without distractions. Turn off the TV, put down your phone, and focus on your food. You'll be more aware of how much you eat and enjoy it more. Remember, it's not about starving yourself. The idea is to eat enough to nourish yourself and feel satisfied, but not to the point of feeling uncomfortable or too full. And here's a curious fact. In ancient Rome, there was the figure of the whisperer. His job was to stand behind diners at banquets and whisper for them not to overeat. Imagine having someone constantly reminding you not to overdo it. Fortunately, you don't need a whisperer to practice hara hachi bu. With a little attention and practice, you can make this habit a natural part of your daily routine. And who knows, maybe you'll discover that eating less makes you feel lighter, more energetic, and in the long run, healthier. Before we move on to the 5th habit, if you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast, and click the bell so you don't miss future episode. And if you enjoy this type of content as much as I do, comment, "I love knowledge," and write your age. Let's keep learning together and improving our lives. Habit 5. Meditation. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Meditation, isn't that just for monks and hippies? But let me tell you, this habit is more powerful than a double coffee on a Monday morning. Meditation is like a gym for your mind. Imagine being able to train your brain to stop spinning like a hamster on its wheel. Sounds good, right? Well, that's exactly what meditation does. And the best part is, you don't need special equipment or an expensive subscription. Just you, your breath, and a few minutes a day. But don't be scared. You don't need to become a Tibetan monk or shave your head. Just a few minutes a day to calm that mind of yours that sometimes feels like a monkey with maracas. Can you imagine being able to turn off that mental chatter that won't leave you alone? Well, meditation is like the mute button for that internal noise. And before you think this is too new age for you, let me tell you a secret. Some of the most successful people in the world practice meditation. Did you know that even Steve Jobs meditated? Yes. The genius behind Apple found time in his busy schedule to sit and simply breathe. And look how far he got with his little apples. But Steve Jobs isn't the only one. Oprah Winfrey, Hugh Jackman, and even athletes like Kobe Bryant have attributed part of their success to regular meditation practice. Coincidence? I don't think so. Now I know what you're thinking. but I don't have time to sit and do nothing. Well, what if I told you that with just 5 minutes a day, you could start seeing results? Yes, you heard right. 5 minutes. That's less time than you spend scrolling on Instagram while you're in the bathroom. Don't act innocent. We all do it. Meditation not only helps you relax, it also improves your concentration, reduces stress, and according to some studies could even help you sleep better. It's like a multivitamin for your brain, but without the nasty taste. And the best part is, you can start today. You don't need a fancy app, a special cushion, or even a quiet place. You can meditate on the bus, at your desk, or even while waiting for your coffee to cool down a bit so you don't burn your tongue again. So, here's a challenge for you. Tomorrow, when you wake up, before grabbing your phone and diving into the chaos of the day, take 5 minutes. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply focus on your breathing. Inhale, exhale. That's it. If your mind starts to wander, and it will, believe me, simply refocus on your breathing. Sounds easy? Well, I'll warn you, it can be a bit frustrating at first. Your mind will try to convince you that you have 1,000 more important things to do. But resist. Over time, I promise it will get easier. Habit 6. Sleep well. Have you ever thought that the key to living longer might be hidden under your sheets? Welcome to the wonderful world of restorative sleep. No, we're not talking about becoming Sleeping Beauty, but almost. It turns out that centenarians in blue zones don't stay up late watching series until the wee hours of the morning. They understand that a good rest is as important as good nutrition. But why is sleeping well so crucial? Well, imagine your body is like a factory. During the day, everything works at full speed, but at night is when maintenance is done. If you don't give enough time for this process, it's like driving a car without ever changing the oil. The result? A mechanical disaster. Or in our case, a biological disaster. The famous psychologist William James once said, "The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook." And it turns out that staying up all night is definitely something we should overlook. So, how can we improve our sleep without resorting to counting sheep all night? Here are some tricks that even Morpheus would approve of. 1. Establish a sleep schedule. Your body loves routine. Go to bed and get up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Yes, I know it sounds boring, but your body will thank you. 2. Create a nighttime ritual. It can be reading a book, meditating, or even doing gentle stretches. It's like giving your brain a signal. It's time to sleep, buddy. 3. Make your bedroom like a cave. Dark, cool, and quiet. If you can make your room more like a bear's cave than a nightclub, you're on the right track. 4. Avoid screens before bed. The blue light from electronic devices is like a coffee for your brain. Unless you want your brain to be partying all night, turn off those gadgets. 5. Be careful with naps. A short nap can be refreshing, but if you overdo it, it's like stealing hours from the night. Keep your naps under 30 minutes. Remember, sleeping well is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So the next time someone tells you you're wasting time sleeping, you can tell them you're investing in your longevity. Who would have thought being lazy could be so healthy? Habit 7. Plant-based diet. No, we're not talking about turning you into a giant rabbit, but about learning from our friends in the blue zones who seem to have discovered the secret to cheating time. In these regions of the world where people live longer and better, the typical plate looks more like a vegetable rainbow than a carnivorous feast. Coincidence? I don't think so. Studies have shown that a plant-rich diet can reduce the risk of chronic diseases and increase longevity. It's as if every bite of vegetables was a little shield against aging. But don't be scared. We're not suggesting you become a broccoli hermit. The key is in balance. The inhabitants of the blue zones follow a diet that is approximately 95% plant-based. The other 5%? Well, let's say it's to maintain sanity and maybe enjoy an occasional barbecue. Now, before you start thinking this sounds more boring than a marathon of paint-drying documentaries, let me tell you something interesting. Did you know that the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, besides being a math genius, was a fervent advocate of a vegetarian diet? Yes, the same guy who made you suffer in school with his theorem also believed that eating meat clouded the mind. Maybe there's the secret to his brilliance. But back to the present. Incorporating more plants into your diet doesn't have to be a Herculean task. Here are some ideas so simple that even your cactus could follow them. 1. Start with Meatless Monday. One day a week, make your meals 100% plant-based. It's like a mini vacation for your digestive system. 2. Try adding 1 extra vegetable to each meal. 3. Swap your snacks. Trade chips for hummus with carrot sticks. Your palate and waistline will thank you. 4. Experiment with plant-based milks. There are so many options that you could make an advent calendar with them. 5. Adopt the philosophy of a colorful plate. The more colors your plate has, the more nutrients you'll be consuming. It's like painting a picture but edible. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about making small changes that add up. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it. So instead of seeing vegetables as punishment, how about seeing them as a ticket to a longer and healthier life? So, next time you're at the supermarket, take a stroll through the fruits and vegetables section. Who knows, you might find your next source of superpowers hidden among the spinach and tomatoes. Habit 8. Wine and friends. In the blue zones, those regions of the world where people seem to have discovered the fountain of youth, wine is not just a drink, it's part of a social ritual. A ritual that surprisingly could be adding years to their lives. But before you rush to open that bottle you've been saving, let's explore why. It turns out that moderate wine consumption, especially red wine, can have health benefits. The antioxidants present in wine, like resveratrol, have been associated with better cardiovascular health and greater longevity. However, the key word here is moderate. We're talking about 1 or 2 glasses a day, not emptying the cellar every night. As Paracelsus, the father of toxicology, said, "The dose makes the poison." In other words, the difference between a remedy and a poison is in the amount. But wine is only half the equation. The other half, and perhaps the most important, is social connections. In the blue zones, wine is not drunk alone in front of the TV. It is enjoyed in company, as part of a shared meal or an animated conversation with friends and family. Did you know that having strong social connections can be as beneficial to your health as quitting smoking? Studies have shown that people with strong social relationships have a 50% higher likelihood of living longer than those with weak relationships. It's as if every shared laugh, every story told, every moment of connection were a small deposit in your longevity savings account. So, how can we incorporate this habit into our lives in a healthy way? Here are some ideas. 1. Organize regular dinners with friends or family. They don't have to be elaborate. The important thing is the company. 2. Join a dance club or any group that shares your interests. It's a great way to meet new people and keep your mind active. 3. If you decide to drink wine, do it with a meal and in good company. Enjoy the taste and conversation, not the effect of the alcohol. 4. Practice the art of the after-dinner conversation. Stay a little longer at the table after eating, chatting, and enjoying the company. 5. If you don't drink alcohol, don't worry. The important thing is the social connection, not the wine itself. A tea, a must, or a juice can fulfill the same social function. Remember, it's not about turning every gathering into a party, but about cultivating meaningful connections and enjoying the small pleasures of life in good company. So, the next time you find yourself with a glass of wine in your hand surrounded by friends, remember that you might be participating in one of humanity's oldest and healthiest rituals. Who would have thought that something so pleasurable could also be so good for you? Habit 9. The practice of generosity. Have you ever thought that giving could be the key to receiving more from life? No, we're not talking about emptying your wallet at every corner, but something much deeper and more transformative. The ancient Stoics, those bearded philosophers who seemed to have an answer for everything, already knew this. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote, What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. In other words, what you give to others, you give to yourself. But it's not just philosophers who say so. Modern science agrees. A study from the University of California found that people who practice generosity regularly have lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. It's as if every act of kindness were a little massage for your nervous system. Now, before you start thinking you need to be Bill Gates to be generous, let me tell you a secret. Generosity is not measured in dollars, but in intention. It can be as simple as giving a smile. Yes, even with a mask, it shows in the eyes. Helping a neighbor with their groceries or simply listening to a friend in need. And what if I told you that being generous could make you richer? No, I haven't lost my mind. A study from the University of Notre Dame found that generous people tend to be more successful in their careers. It's as if the universe has a financial karma system. So are you ready to put this revolutionary habit into practice? Remember, it's not about how much you give, but the intention behind your actions. And who knows, you might discover that true wealth is not in your bank account, but in the smiles you provoke and the lives you touch. Habit 10. Reading. Yes, that thing that seemed like a punishment when you were a kid could now be your ticket to immortality. Well, almost. It turns out that bookworms have an advantage over the rest of us. Recent studies have shown that adults who read regularly live an average of 2 years longer than those who don't. 2 years. Imagine all the things you could do with that extra time. You could finally learn to juggle or watch all the seasons of that series you've been putting off. But reading not only lengthens your life, it also enriches it. As the great Jorge Luis Borges said, "I have always imagined that paradise will be a kind of library," and he was right. Reading is like traveling without moving from your sofa. It's living 1,000 lives in one. Now, don't be scared. You don't have to become a scholar overnight. Starting is as easy as opening a book. Remember that book you use as a paperweight? Yes, that one. It's time to dust it off and give it a chance. And if you think you don't have time to read, think again. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world, dedicates 80% of his day to reading. If he can do it while managing a financial empire, you can do it between episodes of your favorite series. Reading is not just a pastime, it's a workout for your brain. It's like going to the gym, but instead of lifting weights, you're lifting ideas. And the best part is, you don't need sportswear or an expensive subscription. So, if you want to live longer and better, add reading to your daily routine. Start with just 15 minutes a day. It can be before bed, during your commute to work, or while waiting for your food to cook. Gradually, you'll notice how your mind expands, your vocabulary improves, and who knows, you might even become the life of the party with all the interesting stories you'll have to tell. Remember, every page you read is another step towards a longer and fuller life. As the philosopher Seneca once said, reading feeds the soul. So what are you waiting for? The next chapter of your life is waiting for you, literally, in the pages of a good book. Habit 11. Get out of your comfort zone. Imagine your comfort zone as a cozy and welcoming bubble. Sounds good, right? But here's the trick. Inside that bubble, there is no growth. It's like trying to build muscle without lifting weights. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We do not dare to do many things because they are difficult, but they are difficult because we do not dare to do them." Boom. There you have it. The secret to overcoming fear is facing it. It's like when you were a kid and afraid of the monster in the closet until your mom opened it and it turned out to be just a pile of wrinkled clothes. But don't worry, we're not talking about skydiving from a plane unless you want to, of course. We start with small steps. How about trying that exotic dish you've always wanted to try today? Or better yet, how about talking to that neighbor you always cross paths with but never greet? Who knows, it could be the beginning of a great friendship. Or at least you'll have a funny story to tell. Psychology tells us that every time we do something that scares us a little, our brain releases dopamine. It's like a mini adrenaline rush, but without having to run for your life from a bear. And the best part is that with each small challenge you overcome, your confidence grows. It's like leveling up in a video game, but in real life. A study from the University of Texas found that people who regularly step out of their comfort zone report higher levels of life satisfaction. See? Science backs up what we're saying. It's not just motivational talk, it's pure biology. So, next time you find yourself hesitating to do something new, remember the words of the great philosopher Nike: just do it. Or as your grandmother would say, he who does not risk does not win. And if everything goes wrong, well, at least you'll have a good anecdote to tell at the next family gathering. Remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So get out there and do something that scares you a little every day. Who knows, you might discover a new talent, make a new friend, or simply realize that you're braver than you thought. And that, my friend, is worth more than all the gold in the world. Habit 12. Disconnect from technology. Have you ever felt like your phone is a magnet and you're a piece of metal? Yes, I know what you're thinking. How am I going to survive without my precious smartphone? But don't worry, I'm not asking you to throw it out the window, though the idea is tempting, isn't it? Look, even the great thinkers of history understood the importance of disconnecting, and they didn't have to deal with Instagram notifications every 5 minutes. The Roman philosopher Seneca said, "We must give rest to our minds so that they can return stronger to thinking. And believe me, your mind will thank you." Now, I'll confess something to you. I myself can't disconnect completely. These episodes I make on my podcast to help you require technology, and I do it gladly. But let me tell you a secret. Those days at the beach with friends or family without looking at my phone are like an oasis in the digital desert. They make you remember that there's a world beyond the screen, and it's great. Okay, but what do modern experts say? A study from the University of California found that just being near your phone, even if it's off, reduces your cognitive capacity. It's like your brain is in call waiting mode constantly. Can you imagine living like that? It's like having a very noisy roommate but in your head. So, how do we start disconnecting? Don't panic. You don't have to become a tech hermit overnight. Start with small steps. How about leaving your phone in another room during meals? Or try having a digital curfew an hour before bed. Your sleep will improve, and who knows, you might even rediscover the pleasure of reading a paper book. And if you need extra motivation, think about this. Psychologist Adam Alter says that the time we spend on screens is directly related to our unhappiness. Want to be happier? You know what to do. Now let's move on to the last habit, laughing. Habit 13. Laughing. Have you ever wondered why children laugh about 300 times a day while adults barely reach 20? It seems we've forgotten the art of laughing, don't you think? Well, get ready because our last habit is just that, laughing. Yes, you heard right. Laughter is not only fun, it's a powerful tool for your well-being. Did you know that the philosopher Epictetus said, "If you want to be happy, be good"? I would add, if you want to be happy, laugh. But don't just take my word for it. Science backs this up. Studies have shown that laughter reduces stress, improves the immune system, and can even relieve pain. It's like a gym for your soul, but without the sweat and soreness. So here's a challenge. Try to find something funny in your daily life. Maybe it's that dog with a strange hairstyle you saw on the street. Or maybe it's the face you make when you try to open a particularly stubborn pickle jar. Humor is everywhere, you just have to look for it. And if all else fails, you can always resort to one of my bad jokes. Why do divers fall backward into the water? Because if they fell forward, they'd land in the boat. My jokes are getting worse, I know. Well, that's it. Now you might think all these habits are like separate ingredients in your kitchen, but the magic happens when you combine them. It's like making a secret recipe for longevity. Restorative sleep gives you energy to maintain your routine. A stable routine gives you space for play and laughter. Laughing and playing help you find your purpose. And having a purpose motivates you to slow down and enjoy the journey. These habits reinforce each other like the musicians of an orchestra. Each has its role, but together they create a symphony of well-being. The end result is more than the sum of its parts, a longer, happier, and fuller life. So the next time you're tempted to stay up late, skip your routine, or take life too seriously, remember these habits are not strict rules, but invitations to live in a way that has worked for generations in the blue zones. Ready to incorporate these secrets into your life? You don't have to do it all at once. Start with small steps. Maybe today you decide to go to bed half an hour earlier, or dedicate 5 minutes to laughing with a friend. Remember, the path to a longer and happier life is not a race. It's a dance. And now you have all the steps to dance it your way. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "long and happy life," so I'll know who the victorious ones who reach the end of the episode are. I'm eager to hear your stories of triumph. So like the episode, subscribe, and activate the notifications. Before I say goodbye, I want to thank you for the constant support you're giving to the podcast, and also thank you for your comments full of gratitude and love. I read them all. I hope to continue creating more content like this in the future. So, if you want to support these episodes, you can become a subscriber and enjoy the benefits. A big hug.